Hey everybody, welcome back to Dino Comics Forever, and today we're gonna go back to a goodie but an oldie but a goodie, the singer from my fictional punk rock band from the Dreaming Screamers. And now we're actually gonna finish photoshopping it. So as you can see, I first did I'm first using a different layer to do the initial the ink lines. And when it came to the lips, I kind of was struggling. Should I do it both full color or just use one that is pure black and one that is full color? And I decided this is actually a better look because it fits with more my style. And that way it doesn't look like her lips are too bulbous. And so basically just have it in front of the hair. I always like using this comic, well, it's not a comic brush, it's more of a ink pen brush. In the style of those old, well, in Holland we call them Kroontjes pen. I don't know what the English word for it is. It's those sort of pens that you actually have to dip in ink and then use normally. They're very sharp, so I used to use them a lot, but then I stopped because I went digital, and also I used to cut my fingers a lot on those pens, so it was more beneficial. It was more beneficial to my health. Let's just say that. And okay, thanks to Photoshop, it actually allows me to correct a lot of mistakes and also add in some details that I didn't think were possible in the initial pencil drawing, like these studs on her belt. Okay, we're nearly done with the drawing with the ink. Just got to do the legs and her microphone, I believe. I'm actually doing this recording after I did the video, so just trying out new stuff. Okay. I actually also had to redo her hand a bit because I didn't know exactly... Because in my opinion, it looked a bit big when I zoomed out. So I tried some stuff, but then initially just... And in the end, I thought it worked out. And of course, we do my trusty edging. Just a couple of lines here and there. I used to think that... I used to actually use too much of these lines, but now I think it's a healthy mix if I use a very thin brush. Because that way it adds a bit of texture as well as showing where the shadow is going to be without, overloading the actual drawing itself. Excuse me. And at first I thought maybe give her fishnets, but already she's got the fishnet glove, so why not just keep it at the glove? And instead of going with the full black contrast like I normally do, I lowered the fill on this layer. And then, so I can actually see how the really dark tones are going to look like, and then kind of mold it to my, to however I think it should look. I'm trying not to use too much on her actual body and the skin, because if I did that, it would make her skin look like it's metal. And we don't want that. We want a lot of this shine coming off her dress as well as her jacket, because those are both made of latex or leather. That's the important part. And yeah, as you can see on the arms, use very little because then it'll just be too much. But you do want to use a lot on the leg that's behind her, because that's actually the furthest away, and also the part that actually has the most shadow. Okay, we're done with that, and now we're gonna move on to the shading. I already did the color on a different layer because that's a bit boring to see. So now we're doing the shading on actually a normal paintbrush, but I lowered the opacity as well as the transfer so that it gives that nice built-up feeling or built-up texture. And also, I did the same with the eraser tool, so it looked like we did with the high contrast bits. You can just mold it to whatever you want. And thanks to the transfer, it actually also has a sort of a paintbrush texture to it. And thanks to our high contrast, we don't actually have to use too much of it. That way, because thanks to the high contrast, that's like the darkest shadow we can get. Because as everybody knows, black is the darkest shadow you can get. I don't have to repeat myself, but I just did, so what? Big whoop. Want to fight about it? Nah, never mind. Okay, maybe with the next video I'll just speed this part up, because I don't know what else to say. And for those who are wondering, yes, I am going to do the rest of the band. I'm just waiting for time to do it. as well as maybe a trying to figure out a nice song I can play in the background for it. And like I said before, the leg that's furthest away, that's where you use the most shadow, because it's the furthest away and most under, and, well, it's the most one that's covered from the light. Of course, you don't want to use too much highlight on the skin and the face, because then it'll look shiny, and we don't want that feeling. But you do want it a lot on the hair, because that's really expressive. It also shows that she takes care of it. Also, not too much on her dress, because what I did was I did a quick layer and then used the eraser tool to kind of, you know, take away a bit of it, then still leave enough to show that it does catch some light, like here on the bottom of the dress. And then with the shiny bits, I use white just to give a little a dab here and there, and then we're good. And some makeup. I think with the other ones, I'm really going to play with the makeup. And of course, I do... Oh, yeah. Forgot. Tattoos. I just found a couple of these pictures off the internet, and then I photoshopped them into the drawing. And then I did a couple of things with the color to really make it stick out more. And I forgot to leave, but, you know, who cares? I really like this one, but I wasn't sure where to place it, so I thought, you know what, her arm would look cool. And it also has a nice sort of military feeling to it. And then with the warp tool on selection, on free selection, you can, you know, warp it to wherever you think it looks good. And of course, erase a little bit more. And I wasn't too sure what to do on her face, but I did like this star, so I decided, you know what, just do a couple of those here and there, because then it reminds me of Gem and the Holograms. I kind of wanted to put it on her eye, but then it would look too much like Gene Simmons, and I'm saving that for a different kind of band. But I didn't want to use this black star per se. I just wanted to use a red version, so I just used them as a template. Then I shade those a little bit, put red underneath, and then set them to a overlay layer. And it kind of makes the rest look complete. Yeah. And then I put a grunge texture on it. Again, an overlay. Then I put a cool punk rock background to it. And here we go. The singer. All done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for rambling. And I hope to see you all for the next one. Thanks again, and bye!